The great golfer. He was a little guy, very little, but he worked really hard. And he had a great statement, but he'd go, the harder I work, the luckier I get. And he wins the US Open. You have all these big, handsome guys, these big, giant guys, and they're hitting the ball a mile. And you have Gary Player. And Gary Player would win the Open. He'd win the Masters. He'd win this. He'd win that. And he said, you know, hey, in the US Open, he hit a 5-iron to 1 foot from the hole, and he ended up getting a birdie and wins the US Open, right? And he came off the green. Now, I know I've heard the statement before, but I heard it from him in a meaningful way. They said, what do you think, Gary? What is it? He said, all I know is I've been working very hard, and the harder I work, the luckier I get. I thought it was an amazing statement.
Anyway, I'm in meetings a lot. My calendar gets very full with those, and then at night, after the kids have gone to bed, I'm on email a great deal. I get messages during the day. That's my chance to give long responses. And then over the weekend, I send a lot of mail as well. I take 2 weeks a year to just go off and read and think, where I'm not interrupted by work or anything else. I'm just solidly trying to think about the future, and people get to send me things to read as part of that so-called Think Week. So it's a nice mix of things. About 25% of the time that I'm out traveling around, meeting with customers, Europe, Asia, and that sort of helps me think, okay, do we have the right priorities? What are people responding well to, and what would they like to see us do better?
I say to my girls all of the time that your real work is to figure out where your power base is and to work on the alignment of your personality, your gifts that you have to give, with the real reason why you're here. That's the number one thing you have to do, is to work on yourself and to fill yourself up and keep your cup full. Keep yourself full. Now, I used to be afraid of that. I used to be afraid, particularly from people who say, oh, she's so full of herself. She's so full of herself. And now I embrace it. I consider it a compliment that I am full of myself. Because only when you're full, I'm full, I'm overflowing, my cup runneth over. I have so much to offer and so much to give. And I am not afraid of honoring myself. You know, it's miraculous when you think about it.
People can say what they want to say, but I just represent, you know, being sucker-free and working hard and being positive. I don't hate on nobody. I'm not a negative individual, and I just wake up and I just go for mine, and I just try to work the hardest I could work. And I could have went a lot of different routes, but I just decided to go the route of hard work.
The expectation from where I came from, and listen, I didn't come from like the slums in, you know, Bangladesh or something, so I don't want to overemphasize it, but the expectation was I would be a cop. Mm-hmm. So I took the policeman's test when I was 17 or 18 years old with my little brother, Josh, and he wound up going into the police, and I wound up going to Fordham. Mm-hmm. But at the time, my dad had his restaurant repossessed by the federal agents for not paying his taxes. Mm-hmm. So they came with shotguns that summer in 1988, and they closed his place down. And that was the most traumatic moment of my life. And it probably is the second most traumatic moment of my life after 9/11. And when that happened, that changed everything about me as a person. Like, to see your dad have his restaurant taken, even like talking about it now as a 42-year-old. And I just thought to myself, wow, you know, that he lost everything, and he never recovered from it. Mm-hmm. That was like the end of his entrepreneurial career. And I said to myself, I'm never going to fail at business. Mm-hmm. No matter what it takes, I'll win. Because I'm never going to let the feds take my place. And he went $100,000 in debt, you know, and tax evasion and all that stuff. And it was very scary. But I had no money to go to college. So I had to work 3 jobs and go to school at night at Fordham. And I learned a work ethic that I think made me who I am today. Like, I'm a very hard worker. I'm not the smartest kid in the class, you know, but, you know, just in terms of being clever and having hustle, I think my career proves, like, I'll get it done no matter what.
Depending on how well you want to do, and particularly if you're starting a company, you need to work super hard. So what does super hard mean? Well, when my brother and I were starting our first company, instead of getting an apartment, we just rented a small office and we slept on the couch. And we showered at the YMCA, and we're so hard up we had just one computer. So the website was up during the day, and I was coding at night. 7 days a week, all the time. And I sort of briefly had a girlfriend in that period, and in order to be with me, she had to sleep in the office. So work hard, like, every waking hour. That's the thing I would say, particularly if you're starting a company. And I mean, if you do simple math, say like, okay, if somebody else is working 50 hours and you're working 100, you'll get twice as much done in the course of a year as the other company.
Yeah, I've always been focused on work ethic. You know, I've always been taught there's always going to be someone that's better, but there's no reason why someone should outwork you, and I think that applies not only to sports, but it applies to anything that you're trying to do. You have to work harder than other people if you want to be the best, and never be satisfied. You know, I never satisfied. I always try to think of what I can do next to be better.
You want to get your work ethic so high that people actually admire you. I'm going to ask you a question right now. Do people know you because of your unbelievable work ethic? If you can't answer yes to that, man, you're not going to get in that top 10%. You got to get at the top. People have to know you, not because, oh, he's a good salesman. Oh, he's a good this. Oh, he's an artist. Oh, he's a good pianist. Oh, he writes a great, story. No, dude, people need to know you for one major thing first. He works. He produces. The guy's there every day. The guy's pushing and shoving. Because the truth is, no matter how good your ideas are, how good your art is, or how good your skill set is, if you're not working, man, if you're not vibrating at a frequency that people say, my God, how does that guy do all that? If you're not vibrating at that rate, 10x levels, massive action, tremendous work ethic that's just a muscle now, and it's just a discipline in your life, and it's a normal way that other people think is abnormal. Ryan Seacrest, Tom Cruise, Oprah, Steven Spielberg, Donald Trump, still pumping and working as a billionaire. Look, if you're not working at that level, you're not going to make it. Get your work ethic in, man. It's the American way. Work ethic.
I think there's no secret to success. I mean, I think Abby definitely hit the nail on the head. It's all about hard work. It's all about going out there and practicing more than your opponent, than your teammates. It's about mentally preparing every single day. It's about not slacking off, putting in that time and work. And you could tell from Abby that she has put in that work, and that's, I think, the reason that she is so successful. But at the end of the day, there is no secret to why we are so successful.
You have to work. I try to do it almost every day. This is why I'm in a top level many years. I think it's not by coincidence. It's because I do it extra outside the pitch. When I'm 12 years old, most of the people told me, Cristiano, you are a very good talent player, but you are very skinny, very slim. And I put it in my mind, the body we can improve. We can improve. You got gym, dedication and hard work, you can improve. So I improve myself. Athleticism means a lot. For me, I think the small details in the hands gonna make a huge difference to compare with the other players. So I think it's very important to do this kind of work, and I think it's going well on me. This is why I'm in good shape almost all the year, and I want to carry on like that because it's helped me a lot. It's part of me. I'm not doing that kind of work because I have to. It's because it's part of me.